This is how Swede speaks.
On March 22nd, Hizb ut-Tahrir, an Islamic party, arranged a public Friday prayer at Christiansborg Palace Square in Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark. Nearby, the identitarian libertarian party Stram Kurs, meaning tight course, had a protest against Hizb ut-Tahrir in which they burned a Quran on a disposable grill. Criticism against Hizb ut-Tahrir was also voiced by Iranian-born Danish politician Anahita, who is a candidate for the Danish parliament. What's going on in Denmark? That's what we will address in this video. Before we get started, I want to thank all of my financial supporters. This is my day job. Without you, this channel would not be possible. So, as I said, on March 22nd, 2019, Hizb ut-Tahrir arranged a public Friday prayer at the Christiansborg Palace Square in Copenhagen. According to Wikipedia, Hizb ut-Tahrir is an international pan-Islamist political organization which describes its ideology as Islam. They aim to re-establish the Islamic Caliphate in the Islamic world and to proselyte Islam to the rest of the world. And on March 22nd, a large number of their followers were gathered for a public Friday prayer at Christiansborg Palace Square in Copenhagen. Hizb ut-Tahrir said that the Friday prayer was in commemoration of the Muslims killed in the Christchurch massacre. Hizb ut-Tahrir blames politicians for the massacre, and they picked their location due to the fact that the Danish parliament is nearby. In a message to the press, the organization wrote, quote, "We conduct the Friday prayer at Christiansborg Palace Square to direct our protest against those primarily responsible for the hateful Islamophobic environment that gives birth to abuse and crime against Muslims like the horrible massacre in Christchurch." Unquote. A female speaker who was wearing a hijab spoke at the prayer about Islamophobia, about being attacked for holding on to Islam, and about critics of Islam lying since we, according to her, are unable to beat Islam in the war of the minds. Nearby, Rasmus Paludan and his party Stram Kurs, meaning tight course, had a protest against Hizb ut-Tahrir, and in this protest they burned a Quran on a disposable grill. Paludan said, quote, "We are demonstrating against Hizb ut-Tahrir because Hizb ut-Tahrir is a declared undemocratic organization who works for Islamic supremacy and against democracy. That's what they say themselves, and we find it very inappropriate that such a movement demonstrate in front of the stronghold of democracy that Christiansborg is." Unquote. Apart from burning a Quran, together with bacon, another copy of the Quran was thrown around. So what is there to say about this? Well, first of all, why is there a party in Denmark working for an Islamic caliphate? How did this happen to Denmark? It happened because of Islamic immigration. It has been going on for decades in Denmark. Danish politicians have imposed stricter laws in recent years, and that's probably what the female speaker was referring to as Islamophobia. In Denmark, they now talk about assimilation rather than integration, and that's good. The people attending the Hizb ut-Tahrir Friday prayer obviously don't want to assimilate. Because if they wanted to, they wouldn't go there. It's as simple as that. And remember, Muslims born in Western countries tend to be more Islamic than their immigrant parents or grandparents. According to a recent research article, Muslims born and raised in the West support terror to a higher degree than Muslims who have immigrated to the West. The article is built on research conducted at Uppsala University in Sweden, and one of the researchers, Nasar Akrami, a researcher in psychology, says that their intention is not to be controversial. Well, there we have it. I already knew it. I have read and heard about this before, and I have seen it. Second and third generation Muslims in Western countries are torn between their old culture and the new country. They look for their roots, and they find Islam. Their parents or grandparents may not be very devout Muslims, but many of the Western-born Muslims find Islam and become very devout Muslims. A lot of the people who fought for the Islamic State were born in the West, including in Sweden and Norway. So this is not surprising, and this is why Hizb ut-Tahrir have established themselves in Denmark. Sad, but true. So what about Stram Kurs, tight course? Well, first of all, let me say that of course they should be allowed to burn a Quran. They should be allowed to peacefully declare their opposition to Islam. They are led by Rasmus Paludan, a Danish lawyer, and some people have mentioned him to me, and I have looked into tight course and what they stand for. They are an ethno-nationalist party with two pillars, identitarianism and libertarianism. according to themselves. They want Denmark for Danes, and they mean ethnic Danes. They seem to make an exception for adopted children, and they do talk about how the growing Islamic presence in Denmark makes Jewish people unsafe. But still, they are ethno-nationalists, and I'm not a fan. Ethno-nationalism goes far beyond assimilation. I'm all for assimilation. When in Rome, do as the Romans. When in Denmark, do as the Danes. Assimilation is about behavior, but for ethno-nationalists, it's about ethnicity. It's a dead end. It's just a fancier word for racism. And if anyone wonders, I am an anti-racist. As I said, I am an anti-racist. I just don't agree with the people usually calling themselves anti-racist. So I am not a fan of tight course, but they should still be allowed to peacefully voice and express their opinions. However, there are saner critics of Hizb ut-Tahrir in Denmark. Iranian-born Anahita, who is a candidate for the Danish parliament, belonging to the party Nye Borgerlige, or New Right, wrote in a Facebook post on March 22nd, commenting on the picture of the Hizb ut-Tahrir Friday prayer in Copenhagen. Quote, "Now I will say it as it is, and it will not be wrapped up with political correctness. I get sick and everything in my stomach turns when I see this picture. Everything. Why? Because it is an extremist demonstration of power equal with if a bunch of Nazis were howling at the Palace Square. It is a picture of Islamism in Denmark being so widespread that it is not only manifested this day by this rally, but also in everyday life, that we think is still based on Danish values, in small, slow steps, but just as sure as Allah Akbar in the mosque. A bunch of minority Danes have recently written that one should vote anti-racist in the election. How about voting anti-Islamist, I ask? How about that we shouldn't have to fight the same fights as my parents did in Iran? How about that we are not racists in Denmark, but patriots who are just effing tired of this development in society? I am not a racist, I am just effing tired. Effing tired of having to discuss issues that shouldn't be relevant in Denmark. Effing tired of import of people who have not chosen freedom as me and my family, but money, greed and a safe future for them and their clan only, at the expense of Danish citizens. I am so effing tired of seeing those pictures that are unquestioned by the so-called democratic Muslims. Instead of Paludan, they should have made a counter-demonstration to show that extremists shouldn't use their private beliefs. Where the HELL were you? By your silence, you made sure that the rest of us who do not want this ridiculous site suddenly are xenophobic, regardless if you would be against the site, but you're silent, and then you call us racists that should not be voted for. Shame on you. I am so effing tired a day like this, where the freedom of association is being good and thoroughly abused, where the freedom of speech is beaten to pieces, and where freedom in Denmark is threatened again. I am so tired, and I'm already tired from having escaped once. Feel free to share for the sake of Denmark." Unquote. I quoted this in its entirety because I think it's really good. She's right. She does talk about private beliefs, and obviously Islam is not a private belief. Islam is an authoritarian ideology with some religion in it. Maybe she knows that. In any case, Anahita has made the sanest and most hard-hitting critique of Hizb ut-Tahrir in Denmark that I have seen in the last few days. So I sincerely hope that Hizb ut-Tahrir disappears from Denmark and from every country. It is time to start praying for Christian revival in the West and in the East, among secular and atheist Westerners, and among Muslims. We can look for political solutions to reduce the harm done by Islam, and we should. But I hope that the woman in a hijab who spoke about the battle of the minds will one day praise Jesus Christ as her Lord and Savior, and that she will speak up against the lies of Islam. It is a matter of fact that Islam doesn't work in the West, and actually, Islam doesn't work anywhere. Islamic countries are either horrible dictatorships or dysfunctional. And in non-Islamic countries, the establishment of Islam leads to clashes. Ethno-nationalism is not the solution. The political solution is, of course, to stop Islamic immigration, to stop funding mosques, and stop funding Islamic organizations, to ban foreign funding of mosques and Islamic organizations, to demand assimilation for citizenship, and to make clear that if you follow Islam, you are not assimilated, and to ban the burqa, as Denmark did last year, and similar political measures. That's the political battle, to push back Islam. But what really needed is Christian revival. And that's what I have to say about this. So what do you think? Comment below, and if you like this video, I'd really appreciate any donations. Even $1 makes a difference. If everyone who watched this channel gave $1, it would transform this channel. Just take a look at the links below. But if you really can't financially support this channel, I would be very grateful if you would share a link to one of your favorite videos from this channel on your social media, because ad revenue also helps. Also, make sure to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Most importantly, pray for this channel, and remember to check out my live stream on Saturday at 5:30 PM Eastern Standard Time and 11:30 PM Central European Time. Until next time, have a nice day, thank you for watching, and God bless.